My name is Taylor Bourgeois, and this is my story. When I first came onto campus in 2018, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my life. I had started in journalism, which I would eventually drop, and really had no idea that I would ever go into ministry. But it was through the leadership pipeline at the chapel that from freshman year to stepping on the Refuge leadership team my sophomore year, to feeling the call to ministry and stepping on Refuge staff my senior year, and to continuing to grow from a part-time role to a full-time role, that I've really been able to see the growth as a follower of Jesus and just a growth as a minister. But for my first semester, I was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I just struggled to really invest myself, even though I had these people that wanted me to come to Refuge. And it wasn't until the second semester of my freshman year that I really got involved in Refuge. And so stepping onto leadership my sophomore year, it was a mixture of some things I was ready for and some things that I really needed to grow in. And as I was learning things and kind of figuring out what it was like to share the gospel with someone, it was all still relatively new to me. But going into spring 2020, when I started to still feel like I had more of that growth, but also really struggle with understanding what it meant to lead, was when the entire world shut down. I started to really hear God and kind of this call for ministry. I had this new passion of where I'm going to give Refuge leadership everything I have, because this will be my opportunity to see that if ministry is what the Lord has for me. And what that semester and what that next school year was some of the most unbelievable, fulfilling moments of my life, as I grew so much in not only my ability to lead, my ability to facilitate a discussion in a community group, my ability to disciple a younger believer, but I just grew in my faith. I knew Jesus so much more. Going into my senior year, I was approached about joining the Refuge's residency program. Being part of the residency program seemed like something that was for kind of people that were holier than me or farther along in their walk. But I'd had this tremendous growth in my ability to lead, but really in my faith, that this is kind of the next step I have. Immediately, I was challenged in 1,000 ways that I hadn't been challenged before. Because of what I learned in the residency program my first 2 years in developing leaders, empowering leaders, and really casting vision for ministry as a whole, I started a larger role where I was responsible for leadership development within Refuge. And so what I got to take is the experience of learning how to help create these events and how to help talk to leaders and help coach them on what to do and how to lead a community group, how to disciple. And I got to share that with this group of older leaders. As I come to the end of my time in the residency program, having this call to ministry, the next step I have is to go to Dallas Theological Seminary and to move to Dallas and start taking classes there, so DTS. But to look at what God has done in my life to the moment I'm at right now is unbelievable. And how He has used the chapel and how He's used the Refuge to mold me into the person He had set out for me. I have been blessed to have a chapel staff that supports me, a Refuge residency staff that supports me. I've seen the love of Christ so much through so many different people because of this opportunity. I'm just so excited for what He has next. Seminary was not necessarily my first choice, but God has made it so clear that this is what He has next for me, that I can't help but just be grateful and just be Lord, let's go. I'm ready for this. My name is Taylor, and that is his story.